Hello, good evening everybody. We are back after 2 weeks with the What If Round Table. I am MasakoX, it is Friday night, and I am joined by Haverok this week.
Hello, and I'm not MasakoX.
Yes, he's the other one. But unfortunately, Sophie is not here today, but she will most likely be back for next week's installment. So, you guys know the drill. If you are new to the channel though, what you need to do is just leave a super chat, or you can become a member by clicking the join button below. And this all goes towards supporting the channel, because this means I can keep on making what ifs. And, you know, I'm in a good mood today because, I don't know, I'm just basically on a new diet for the new year. And I'm basically in a, if you've watched the Jonathan Joestar thing, I'm like in a permanent state of ketosis. So, but anyway, so I just feel in a good mood. And also, I found out that the UK is not implementing Article 13, so yay. Huzzah! So I'm happy about that. But, so that means, in terms of the channel and its future, it's basically looking very rosy. So, yeah. But
You mean Master Rosie?
and Sophie's not here. Sophie's not here to counter that.
Yeah.
Or as Krillin would go, ha-ha! But anyway, super chats, that means you can do it because we do have a lot of people chatting, and just keep on coming. And please, lightly tap that like button. We're going to be different here. But basically, we are going to start off. And also, if you are worried that it might take a while to get through to yours, we do have a backlog, but we're going to try and get through this as long as possible. That's why we've gone early. That means we've gone early, so a lot of people think it's 8. Nope, we're going now. But anyway, Podo starts everything off, asking, what is your process for planning out a what if? Because what I am doing for mine is planning out goals I want way down the line first, then planning out how I should work up to reaching those goals. Well, basically, because Haverok helps out with writing a few of the stories. So Haverok, do you want to just say how you do your workflow?
Yeah, sure. I'm having Sayakon flashbacks. Basically, my work process, I'm the opposite of Toriyama, so I like to plan a lot of things very, very early. Of course, things can change, and sometimes I have a better idea. But in general, like, I am the kind of guy who starts to plan the beginning and the ending at the same time, so they don't feel disconnected from each other, basically. And I'm trying to, think about which character would be the focus of the story, what would be different, and where will the path lead that character.
Right.
Sometimes on the way, something's working and we add it. How about you?
Well, for me, I kind of run by the seat of my pants, as it were, like Toriyama. As in, I don't actually really plan. I just sit down and go, what am I going to do for this script? And I do automatic writing. So I kind of just go with it. And if I like it, I rarely go back and just like delete it and go like, nah, that's no good. So I just tend to kind of go by that logic. And it really does help. Like, there is going to be a Goku Marry Bulma Part 13 on Tuesday. And I really like this one because it involves me doing my perfect Cell impression. Or basically, I'm impersonating Takahata 101. And stuff like that. It's great. So
Taka would be proud.
Yeah, but in short, I basically, I just improv. I do it as I go along. So basically, that's pretty much how I do it, Podo. Anyway, Red Dragon Force 2 is up next, and they say, and asking on Broly's part, Masako, you lied to us. I did no such oh, no, sorry. MasakoX, you lied to us. I did no such thing. But Masako, you didn't have a round table last week like you promised. Unsubscribe. Well, okay, yeah, Red Dragon, you got me there. Basically, I was at a KumaCon last week in Ireland. And unfortunately, the hotel Wi-Fi was really not reliable enough to be able to do a stream. So, unfortunately, it meant that, you know, it had to kind of stop in that regard. But, you know, it kind of allowed me to have a bit of a break from that and then come back at this all, you know, all bright-eyed and stuff. So, there's your answer there. But Dragon Force again comes back from Edgardo J. Cruz. What if Yamcha was a wolf man or werewolf? It'd probably be very interesting. So yeah, at first he would have his own game, Yamcha Unleashed.
Oh, no.
He'd have a
That would be a very good game.
He'd have an annoying floating mascot. Oh no, wait, he already has that. No, Puar's not annoying, but it's not. He's no Chip. But basically, I'd say probably if he was a Wolfman, it would actually be really interesting. It would actually mean that could be his powerful transformation. Like maybe he's even stronger as a werewolf. Bit less in control, but at the same time, he has more of a grip on his power, so he's stronger. That could be neat. Red Dragon Force 2 again. AFWI says, AF says, what if future Videl timeline? Gohan saves her before dying, Trunks is in a temporary coma, and Goku still kills Frieza cold. So basically, Videl is the only one. So basically, Gohan saves her life in exchange for his, and Trunks is kind of incapacitated. So in that regard, well, I must admit that's interesting. But if that were the case, then I imagine that the only way that they could defeat the androids, or at least be able to stop them, would be they have to think on their feet. Like, they'd have to come up with some way of getting to Jiro's lab, if it's still there. Or if Bulma has to think like Jiro, or something like that. They have to come up with their own kind of remote control, or something like that.
And, if Videl was the one to return to the past, they might be able to defeat Cell, but, she would need somebody to come back to past with her to defeat Imperfect Cell. Would be up for some revenge.
No, I think so, yeah. Okay. Manifesto. What if old Kai let Gohan leave his training on time? Would it have made the difference? I've been sitting here for 10 minutes for no reason? So basically, if Gohan went 10 minutes earlier. Probably? Would you say?
Yeah.
No, so basically, Gohan probably would have been able to, save one other person from getting absorbed. Or something like that. But in a way, that wouldn't matter too much, because with his arrogance in the ultimate form, he probably would have ended up being absorbed anyway.
Maybe the power was inside him the whole time.
Captain Planet, the power is yours! And stuff like that. Megane-chan 720. I recognize this name. Thank you so much for reading my What If Gine adaptation. It was awesome to hear it fully voice acted. And thanks to your viewers for all the love. Oh, you're welcome, Megane-chan. It's a really good story, and I know that N7 Spartan 95 has done one of his own, called DragonBallZ and K. So yeah, there's some really good adaptations of the Gine story, as well as some of the other ones. But yeah, Megane, you really, I implore you to do more, because, and again, don't do it just to appease me, or any of us. Just write it as you would have normally done, without us looking over your shoulder.
Without outside interventions.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's when because I fell in love with that, and I want to continue. So there's plenty to go around. It'll be great. Okay. Firebrand128. What if the Z team listened to Bulma and used the Dragon Balls to find Dr. Gero and stops him from creating the androids? Well, yeah.
No Saga.
Android Saga never happens.
Yeah.
Android Saga never happens. Cell.
Very disappointed Cell comes to this timeline. It's like,
Cell just goes like, all right, time to open up my brother. Oh.
What, seriously?
Wow.
This is the worst timeline. You guys have no honor.
He's like,
no honor.
It's like, and Vegeta's like, well, I was trying to say that to the woman, but, she wouldn't listen, but oh no. No.
You used to be cool.
And you used to be alive. So, yeah, so sort of like that. Again, Firebrand, what Bulma said made sense, but in terms of, but then we wouldn't have had a story and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Logically makes sense, though. Red Dragon Force 2 says, what if Goku gained one-time God Key usage from the Elder Kai's life force, but is unable to access it again until BOG? There are arguments to say that in theory he sort of did, in a way. But it would actually be really interesting. Is that this God Key, he doesn't know what it is, but he just feels that once he got his life force back, he's like, well, I feel stronger than I did before. Like, as far as he was concerned, he would just think, oh, this is just like another Zenkai or something like that. But
I have a tinfoil hat theory about this, that they originally intended for Super Saiyan God to be like Ultra Instinct in terms that Goku couldn't attain it again, but they postponed it till Ultra Instinct.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was true. But then they saw Super Saiyan God was like really popular. So it'd be like, oh, let's just wheel it out again and just have something even stronger. That is usually the way, because basically, I imagine Super Saiyan 2 and 3 and stuff like that wasn't really in the pipeline until they realized, oh dang, it's popular. The Jurassic Show. Is it okay if you share your thoughts on my OC Divine Trio? Boz, an angel, Typh or Tiff, Supreme Kai, and Yagmas, the God, after Jägermeister. I can tell you their puns if you want. Yeah, Jurassic Show, you can if you want, but yeah, basically, I really need to do that series where I rate people's Dragon Ball OCs. I really need to, because that could be a really good, that could be a good series, certainly. But yeah, no, feel free to tag me in the chat, and Haverok will keep an eye out for that too. Okay, Paparacha. Hey, it's Mr. Paparacha. What if Saiyans were diplomatic when they came to Earth? Okay, so basically, if they have their diplomacy skills like knocked up by 50% or something like that, in a way, Raditz was kind of diplomatic, at least for a Saiyan, as
much as he could, yeah.
As much as he could, because he was actually he gave Goku loads of chances to do something, whereas normally a Saiyan would just give one chance, if not, okay, you're no use to me. So that's what normally a Saiyan would do, but Raditz was very, very cunning and very shrewd. So, in a way, it's just, you just have more Raditzes. Yeah. And Martin, yeah, so cool. So yeah, I think that's pretty much how you be. You just get more Raditzes. And is that such a bad thing? I think it's personally, I consider that an absolute win. And Paparacha's back in again. What if old Kai unlocking Gohan's potential turned him into an angel? So basically, I think, does it mean if the Elder Kai does this, or maybe Gohan becomes an angel? What do you think it means? Do you think it means that the Elder Kai becomes an angel?
No, I think that Gohan becomes an angel. That's how I've read it.
I don't think that's how it works. Basically, as far as I can tell, so basically if it was some kind of, I would imagine if that, as soon as that happened, I'd imagine the Grand Priest would have come down and said, excuse me, what's going on here?
I'm the one doing angel. I'm the angel papa here.
It's like, excuse me, Elder Kai. I didn't expect you to actually be making angels around where I am. We would have had the Grand Priest coming in way earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the Boo would have just been like, Boo would have just been a distraction to him, and just go like, you know, oh, go away. I'm more interested in this. I think Gohan would have just been considered an angelic experiment, really. Well, the Boo saga would have been finished, that's for sure.
I mean, all the question was with the angel laws, would they apply towards Gohan after this? That's an interesting thought experiment. If if they made him.
Let's make a note of that.
Yeah.
Make a note of that. Red Dragon Balls 2 again. What if Krillin explained the Dragon Balls to 16, 17, and 18, and Logic bombed the Killsong Goku program, letting them be free to do whatever within reason? It's kind of hard to say what Shenron can do. Shenron seems to be very limited when it comes to artificial stuff. Like, he can remove physical stuff. Like, he can remove the devices inside the androids, because that's a physical thing. Whereas technology, Shenron's not really made for that.
And that's really easy to explain, because when Kami was creating Shenron, like, some of the technology, of course, like he came to Earth on a spaceship, but like a lot of technology was lost to Namekians, and Kami isn't the most technical person around, and Earth wasn't so well developed. So when he created Shenron, there was no need for like giving Shenron technology-related powers.
Yeah, exactly. There was just no real kind of understanding about it at the time.
And okay, you might argue that this one, the one that was talking about it was Dendes Shenron, but like, I think that the same thing applies, you know?
Okay. Alright, that seems reasonable. Paparazzi again. What if Goku was reincarnated as Mineta in My Hero Academia?
No.
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 Their hairs are kind of similar, but one's
No.
stickier.
And the whole
To be
character
honest,
is pretty
Roshi would be
sticky.
more appropriate.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd feel very bad for Goku. Goku would feel like he got a raw deal.
Yeah.
If he was reincarnated as Lemillion, he'd be happy. It's like, cool, I look Super Saiyan all the time. Okay, Dylan64.
Oh my.
What if Goku tried to find and befriend the newly hatched Piccolo after he found out about him from Kami? I think he'd have to be very lucky in the sense of, like, he better hope that that young Piccolo doesn't know who he is. But he probably does. So
That would backfire really
it
easily.
would backfire very badly. And Paparazzi says in response to Mineta, it's a good power set with a bad personality. That's kind of true. But, yeah. Dylan64 again. What if Yamcha and Bulma had a kid during the 5-year time skip before Z? Well, if they did, it would make things very awkward between, yeah, if they broke up. Or maybe they'd have never broken up. Like, Bulma would have been tempted, and there'd have been some kind of love triangle. But in the end, Bulma would have to just stick with Yamcha.
Yeah, but it broke up. If they broke up, it would just mean that Trunks would have, you know, an older half sibling, and I think that they would go on. They would go on a civil terms. I'm pretty sure that Bulma and Yamcha would become friends again after a while.
They sort of are in a way.
Yeah.
Like in R&R, for example, the way I wrote Bulma and Yamcha, as in they care about each other, and like, you know, Bulma wants to see Yamcha happy, and you know she does. So that's why at the end she says, "Go get him, Tiger," as in like get on. You know, you do it. You do you. So that's ultimately. But I'd say that's actually pretty progressive. That'd be if this was done in the 80s, the early 90s. This would have been very progressive for Japanese manga. Seriously.
Yep.
So yeah, Paparazzi again. What if in his post-cell malaise, Vegeta wished the Earthlings were Saiyans? If Vegeta was very, very bored, I'd imagine he probably would have thought about it. I think he'd have probably gotten the DragonBallZ because he knows where the radar is probably kept. Shenron would have probably said, "That is beyond my power," as in being able to do that, you know, to do multiple people.
Also, I don't think Vegeta would do that because, like, he wouldn't think that they earned this power, and like Vegeta also doesn't like freebies, really. Not to mention giving freebies. And...
True. So he probably think about it. It would pass his mind, but he probably ultimately wouldn't do it. And Firebrand128, we did do your what if. What if the Z team listened to Bulma and used the DragonBallZ to find Dr. Gero? And we said that it pretty much would have been no Android Saga. So, you know, we did do yours. And saying, ultimately, it's a very logical scenario. But ultimately, it would have meant that Imperfect Cell would have been left out in the cold.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Let's see where we were. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Ranch was invited to Konton City and met Puddin? I think they'd get on pretty well. Like, you know, I think Ranch would probably be very, very concerned if, like, if Puddin got very chaotic neutral. Like, because I know that Puddin's ultimately chaotic neutral. So, as the rap goes. So I think there'd be some times... Normally, they get on just fine. But I think Ranch would be a bit like, oh, dear. I would say, like, Ranch is, like, very neutral good.
I would say the same. Yeah.
And I think Raditz is chaotic good.
Chaotic good. Totally.
Chaotic good in a way. So, yeah. Paparazzi again. What if Bulma was a Saiyan? Okay. So basically, let's say, for example, she's trying to study genetic engineering, and she finds a way to be able to, like, wanting to understand how to be a Saiyan. Or something like that. So, maybe along those lines?
Yeah, but I think that wouldn't be so easy. Although, as we know from Kakarot game, you can kind of change your genetic makeup in Dragon Ball universe now, at least in Kakarot version of the Dragon Ball universe. So, who knows?
Oh, okay. And Firebrand128, apparently I don't see it on the list. It's not on my list. So if you could just tag me in it, we'll keep a note of it. So, yeah, it's not come up. As far as I can tell. Again, if we do miss your... It's probably YouTube, you know, doing a brain fart and stuff like that. Just Sawyer does a super chat. Thank you very much. JRC. What if Goku and the others found Vamper in GT? Okay, so say for example, if it was GT, I think Paragus would have probably succumbed to old age. And Firebrand, just at MasakoX in the chat, in your chat box, that means I'll see it when it's tagged. But basically,
yeah, you can tag me as well, so we both can see it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but basically, I'd say if Vamper was found by in GT, I think Paragus would have died of old age at that point, and Broly probably would have been left on his own. If he didn't lose his mind and blow up the planet, I think ultimately they'd have been able to control Broly in a way. But I think
would free Broly when he felt the death is close.
True.
He would put him free.
Yeah, he would probably release him, saying there's not much more I can do. So I think Broly would stay on Vamper, but at the same time, I think if they discovered him, they probably would have... I think they would have been able to handle Broly more, because Broly wouldn't have been angry. He would have been free and stuff like that.
Yeah, but like he could, you know, revert and forgot how to communicate, you know, like he could be that very...
that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see where we are. Papa Madamatcha. Hey Moscow, thanks for reading my thing earlier this week. It really means a lot. You're welcome, dude. For this roundtable, I thought I'd ask, what if Dr. Gero was more cooperative with 17 and 18? Well, he'd still have a body. That's for sure. So basically, if he was like more understanding, like he was more kind of more understanding and forgiving. So he probably would have been still alive. And yeah, he would not have. He probably might have retreated down to the sub lab to like just stay away from all of the action and stuff. I think that's what I think.
You know, there is one important question. Did he put a file strafe mechanism in Cell? Would he be able to control Cell? If not, that would just mean that Imperfect Cell would go for Gero first.
Yeah, and I think that's true. Firebrand1281 one was about what if Guinea and the potential of her having to raise the freed androids to control their power. I don't think so, because the androids, when they're free, I don't think so. They're teenagers right now, and the last thing they want to be is controlled by another adult. So they want to live their own lives. So I really don't think that would happen, in my opinion. I mean, it's a cool idea, it's interesting, and some kind of penance, but I'm not sure how the Cell Saga is going to end with Guinea, because like I've said before, I really don't know. I don't plan things out as much, so I kind of like wait in that regard. So yeah. Paparazzo. What if Bardock killed Frieza with a lucky shot? Okay, so basically that's a... for example, Bardock is able to hit Frieza and something like that, and causes something to happen, and it actually stops Frieza. So there's something about Bardock's ki which does not sit well with Frieza. Well, if Frieza was unable, if it stopped Frieza, if it actually really injured him, like he wasn't paying attention and not concentrating, because we found out that really with Goku and Krillin, if you don't pay attention, you're just as susceptible as to most mortals and regular people. So if Frieza was not paying attention, so Bardock basically did his breaker cannon on the sly, then I think really the Frieza Empire would have probably fallen to bits temporarily, but then King Cold would have come in and pretty much destroyed him.
I mean, they would go revenge immediately.
Yeah, basically, yeah, they would have stopped. They would have stopped Planet Vegeta temporarily from being destroyed, but ultimately it would have been like, yeah, it would have. They would.
I
have
mean,
probably-
you know, let's assume, right, that Frieza has his glue box, the one vital organ in its body that, like with, you know, the nucleus in Cell's body that when hit, kinda kills him, and at that moment, yeah, Bardock killed Frieza, but there's his whole fleet on the orbit.
Yeah, so basically, yeah, sure, you would have taken out the head, but I think the rest of the body would have been able to, like, you know, destroy Planet Vegeta.
They would run away crying to King Cold, and
Yeah,
nothing really
yeah. You'd
would
have
be
delayed the
changed.
inevitable, in short, really.
Yeah.
Philip Perkins. What if Broly's pod landed on Yardrat due to a malfunction? Paragus would still have landed on Vamper. So, okay. Say Broly was on Yardrat. I think, in a way, the Yardratians probably would have looked after Broly.
Yep.
And then when they realized, like, oh, he's actually really, he's quite out of control, Pibara would have just gone like, well, we better fix that, shall we? And, yeah, they would have taught Broly spirit control, and since he's got nowhere else to go, I think, really, he'd have actually ended up being their kind of star pupil.
Yeah. I think they would be able to handle it. Like, Yardratians are one of the very few planets and races that could realistically handle Broly and handle him pretty
That
well.
could be really interesting, so let's make a note of that.
Yeah.
Okay. Pagakil 444. What if Goku had remained in Ginyu's body? Could they have possibly survived the Namek arc? No. I think we're gonna have to play the sound. Eventually. Come on. Sound. There you go. It's been rusty, it's not been played for a while, but basically, I'd imagine that it probably would not have ended well, because Ginyu Goku probably wouldn't have been able to gain the potential of the body. Goku Ginyu would have ended up bleeding out. I don't think they would have survived.
We can play the music. We haven't played it today.
I know we did play. I did just now.
Oh, okay.
So
sorry, I don't hear the sound.
Nah, it's okay. So yeah, we played that. Kali versus Ak. What if Guru awoke Vegeta's power because of G-Force? Or the Ginyu Force, right. Well, if I decided to be a nice guy, then I would, because I am incredibly bored! No, but in reality, I think it would have been a lesser of two evils. He'd have probably had to weigh up the option of, like, if I unlock Vegeta's potential, he might destroy the planet. But if I don't do it, Frieza might destroy the planet. Like, which one do I want less? But I think if he did, Vegeta probably would have been like, he probably would have actually gotten really strong. Like, really strong. He would have been able to take out, he'd have been able to pretty much be competitive right up until the final form. And maybe be really close to Super Saiyan. Close, but maybe not quite, as it were. Something like that. Shukashu, the Silver Super Saiyan. What if Gohan was born with God Ki? Well, if Gohan was born with God Ki, it would have been a very, very major anomaly. And also, Gohan would have been the one that the Oracle Fish would have predicted. So, because Gohan was born when Goku was 18, it means that probably things would have been shifted, and then the Oracle would have predicted, oh, this from 57 years in the future, not 39. Stuff like that. So
it would be kind of amazing for Gohan, because if you think about it, God Ki, like if you don't train, sure, you go out of your shape, but God Ki, like if you don't train that much, while Vados and Whis comment that Beerus and Champa were slacking, but they're still incredibly strong. So even if Gohan hadn't been training, for a short period of time, like those few years, he wouldn't fall so behind from his, from his power in the Cell Saga. So like, Buu Saga would be so much easier to handle with.
Yeah, it probably wouldn't have been discovered until the Buu saga. That's really cool. That's good. I like that. Let's make another one.
Yeah.
Paparazzi says, what if before meeting Bulma, Goku ate the 4-star ball? Oh god. As dumb as that sounds like something Goku would do.
Yes.
Like, say for example, Goku's having a really bad day, and he's like, I can't eat anything, like, or like for some reason, he's got a sweet tooth, and Grandpa Gohan's saying, don't you touch that 4-star ball, and he thinks it's candy.
Think about it. Pilaf would have to take him along for a ride.
He'd be very confused. He'd be like, where's the Dragon Ball? It says it's right here. And she would be, Both? If some of my friends are basically like that, I think, oh no. We're going to have to wait a long time, haven't we? It's like, servants, prepare the royal throne. I'm prepared to wait. Because Toriyama poop jokes.
Yeah.
Sean Dever, what if Zamasu switched bodies with Jiren rather than Goku? Oh, jeez.
I mean, Jiren's, we had that once, so what we tell that, I think Jiren's body is easier to navigate because
it's
Jiren's power, is pure strength, so actually he could get some pretty good gains. He would like punch and will be pretty shocked. Oh.
Yeah, ooh. Yeah, no, he'd be hench, seriously.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Lord Cringe the Cringiest. New here, so I don't know if this was asked already, but what if it was Cooler that got Planet Vegeta? I'd imagine that Cooler probably would have destroyed the... I don't think Cooler would have destroyed Planet Vegeta, but if he did, it probably would have been like, oh, I heard that my brother was going to do it. I'm going to take this away from him.
Yeah.
He's not going to get the satisfaction of doing it. And then we'd have had Cooler and Frieza fighting over it. As the planet's being destroyed, they basically have a brotherly squabble, and then basically...
Though I think Cooler would have taken few of his favorite Saiyans to his force.
Yeah, no, he would have realized who the strongest were, and then just taken them. So basically, he'd realize, oh, I want to destroy Planet Vegeta to annoy my brother, but at the same time, I know how powerful these Saiyans are, so I will take them all for myself and then leave everyone else to die. So yeah. Titan 680. What if instead of having a civil war, both Saiyans and Tuffles formed an alliance? Okay, so basically they had a little spat, and then for some reason the Tuffles were able to find some way of being able to hurt the Ozaru form, and then King Vegeta, or whoever was the king at the time, well, it would have been a King Vegeta, because that's the name of the monarch, basically realized, well, wait a minute, if we keep going like this, the Saiyans will end up being destroyed. So yeah, let's just let's just call a truce and work together. So basically, there'd have been no need to deal with the Arcosians, or they having to do a truce with the Frieza Force. The Saiyans would have had that technology from the Tuffles. So they'd have had the technology. They'd have been able to like just say, thanks but no thanks, and stuff like that. Really.
Yeah.
So yeah, homegrown technology in that regard. Paparazzi, what if Nappa was king and King Vegeta was a decoy? So we got a Queen Amidala situation in Padme. So basically, we just get King Vegeta saying, yes, you fool, for it is I who is not the king. Behold a new monarch. Hi, it's me. Get away.
Vegeta, you're breaking my heart.
Vegeta! Basically Nappa wearing a wig and very ornate cloths and white makeup.
If there is an artist, I want this as a fan art, like to see Nappa in Queen Sama. Yeah, Queen Napidala.
Oh, no, but in answer to your question, that would have been really interesting, and that would have probably thrown people off. Like, Vegeta is like looking after the king, with the king pretending to be a mid-class Saiyan, and Vegeta gets really angry, and then Nappa and quietly go, remember who you're talking to. It's like, yes, your highness. Stuff like that. Yeah. JRC. What if there was another cyborg like 17 and 18? Okay, so basically, like, say there was a 1x prior Like, maybe say, for example, one of the previous android experiments was still around. Yeah, Haverok knows what I'm talking about. That may or may not be a future R&R episode. But if there were, I probably would have said that it might have been Android 21, maybe. Because Android 21 was, like, afterwards, basically. So I would imagine that probably that was, like, another example of being a cyborg, as in, like, just enhanced human, but then becoming a margin for some reason. I don't know. But that would have been interesting. But I don't know how it would have worked out with Jiro figuring out how to make sure they don't have independent thought. That's the kicker. Hannah Rowan. Instead of being destroyed, what if Zamasu's punishment was to have his key sealed and forced to live in Universe 7 with the mortals? Oh,
I love this.
Like this.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like, basically, they have to work together, and Zamasu is basically as weak as a kitten. And, like, Vegeta is just loving this. It's like, hey, Zamos, bring me a tea. And it's like, yes, Vegeta.
I can think of a better idea. He's forced to work on the field for Chi-Chi.
It's Goku's idea.
Yeah.
It's Goku's idea. I know just how the way to fix this problem. And just like he's tending the fields and he's crying. I could have been a Supreme Kai. Oh, dude, that's funny. You know what? Let's make a note of that.
Yeah.
I like that. That could be good for a lightning round. Darren Hardy. Anyone else upset you could not listen to Onto the Snake Way in Kakarot as you travelled on Snake Way? P.S. Looking forward to listening to this on the way home after midnight tonight. Ah, yes, Onto the Snake Way. It got a huge spike on Spotify, I noticed. Like, lots of people were figuring it out, and I didn't add any metadata in it at all. It's like, cool. I'm glad that people like it. So, no, that's really good. So, I thank you, Darren. I hope that you enjoy listening to it on your way home. Hope everything is going well for you. Paparacha is back. What if Frieza didn't destroy Vegeta and a Saiyan Bulma found the 4-star ball with a young food preparer Kakarot? So, okay, say Vegeta... Now, Frieza was tempted to destroy Planet Vegeta, but King Cold was able to convince him to not do so. So, okay, Planet Vegeta, still there. And Bulma was somehow a Saiyan. And... Ooh, this is a bit fiddly. What do you think, Haverok? Thoughts?
Sorry, what was the question again? I was looking through the chat, sorry.
It's, what if Frieza didn't destroy Planet Vegeta and a Saiyan Bulma found the 4-star ball with a young food preparer Kakarot?
Oh my, that's a lot of what ifs, so... Well... First, why wouldn't he destroy Planet Vegeta? That's the important thing, because like not only what if he didn't destroy it, but like the motivation is pretty important in that instance.
Yeah. So that is quite valid. Yeah. That's true.
I mean that can be something that we could take a note of. Like this sounds like an interesting thought process.
Okay. Well, we'll make a note of this. Okay. Okay. Where were we? Alucard 65535. How could I get an idea to you without making it public? It has a bit of a twist I'd love to get your opinion on. Well, if you go to the About section on the channel, you can send it to the business email, which is the MasakoX mailbag. So that's where you can send an email to me if you don't want other people to see it. So that's the best way to do it. Okay. Right. Paparazzi again. What if Piccolo stopped Goku's plan early and went into the hypersonic lion tamer with Goku? So Goku stopped Goku's plan early. Oh, so what with Gohan and stuff like that. So basically, say Piccolo figured out what he was going to do with Gohan. So because Goku could read Gohan could read minds. Piccolo could read minds, sorry.
Piccolo, yeah.
And basically, he could sense that Gohan was very apprehensive. So basically, Piccolo accosts Goku and says, look, if you really want to train with somebody, train it to become yourself. and then basically says he forces himself to the chamber with Goku. So it'd basically be a case of like Goku would have ended up being trained or something like that.
It's pretty funny because we have a very similar scenario in one of upcoming what ifs, so stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned to that.
We have the exactly that scenario,
So
that scenario.
do stay tuned to that because we are thinking about that. Manifesto. What if Jiren was better written like in the manga? Oh right, yeah. Jiren in the manga is way better. He has a personality for a start.
Yeah, I mean, for start, and later he loses it during the chapter, but he still has some backstory.
Yeah, if you combine the first half of the manga and then the second half of the anime, you'd have a pretty good character. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, again, to me, if they gonna reuse Jiren at some point, I feel that he has much more potential as an ally / enemy / rival than an actual antagonist, because due to Dragon Ball Super being basically a Saturday morning type cartoon, they couldn't they didn't want it to go as deeply as they could with him, and it was incredibly shallow. But I believe that as a protagonist, he's much more interesting.
Yes, I would agree with that, certainly. Okay. Paparazzi again. What if Jiro created nanobots that rewrote human DNA into Saiyan and it got loose in the future timeline? That's a good idea, actually. It's kind of like... It's a good and plausible way to explain why, for Dragon Ball Online. Like, say, nanobots. He creates nanomachines, and it's based on all the stuff, again, it would have to be to ensure whether he actually had, the, wherewithal and the resources to do it. So if he had access to Capsule Corp's, assets, he'd have been able to probably have done that instead of doing the insect the insect droids. So he probably would have had more effective, and then basically getting a sample of Saiyan DNA, like from Goku, for example, but not quite knowing what it is. Basically, that could be interesting. But the trouble is, though, sure, he could write human DNA into Saiyan DNA, but there's no guarantee he could control them.
Yep.
Yeah, so pretty much that, really. Interesting, though.
You know what would be cool? To make, that he makes a group of soldiers that would be like the Winter Soldiers from Marvel.
Yeah.
And he has 7 of them.
Oh, because 7 dragons.
And one of them is Yamcha because he kidnapped him or something. Goku's friend.
Yeah, no, I like that. Cool. Nice. Tony Noel, thank you very much for your contribution. And Cyber Knowles next. What if Goku was a Kryptonian instead of a Saiyan? He kind of is in a way. It's basically the same thing, isn't it? I mean,
aside that the Kryptonians are a little bit nicer, usually, not always.
True, yeah, but still, but okay, for the sake of the argument, it would mean basically, Goku would be even stronger, and but at the same time, I imagine when the Dragon Balls turned the sky black, he probably would have ended up feeling a bit weaker. He'd have been affected by that and stuff like that.
Babidi could defeat him.
Yeah, Babidi could. Magic.
And think about Moro. Oh, that would be a nice meeting.
Oh god, jeez, no, Goku wouldn't have stood a chance. Seriously, it would have all have to be up to Vegeta if Saiyans existed and Kryptonians existed. Evangelion Shimotoki. What if Demon King Piccolo's wish for youth also affected Kami? Interesting. So basically, okay, granted, King Piccolo becomes young again, but Kami does as well. We don't really see Kami until after the King Piccolo saga. Yeah. So maybe, if it did, then I would say Kami would actually be stronger. Kami would be stronger, and Goku's training would have been more effective. So basically, I would say that in the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, Goku would have handily won against Piccolo Jr. But the same thing would have still happened, Piccolo would have been defeated. Goku would have said, I want to fight you again, and stuff like that. Come back when you're stronger. But I think Piccolo would have been even more annoyed.
Yep.
Like, by the fact that, even now, he was no match for Goku. He couldn't avenge his father. He'd be even saltier, certainly. Okay. GRC. What if Nappan, that's the fusion of Nappa and Gohan, or Radito stayed fused together? Ooh. I'd say Chi-Chi would be very traumatized by the fact that their groundskeeper and her son got, fused.
Yeah.
That would have gone down badly.
Hello, my butler son. Also, I got a message from Sophie. Sophie sends hi to every one of you in the stream, and she wishes she could be here, but she's still on her trip back home. So
well, no,
she
that's okay.
her...
We'll be looking forward to your return.
Yeah.
So, yeah. No, we'll see you back soon, Sophie. So JRC, Radito stay fused together. I'd imagine that Launch would have probably been very, I think Launch would have been okay with that. Because, he still looks like more Raditz to me. I'd be feeling sorry for Chi-Chi. She'd be just pretending that it's just Raditz.
Yep.
And stuff like that. I think Raditz...
You are no double delinquent, no!
Something like that. Paparacha. What if Bardock convinced the Saiyans and Ginyu accidentally went to Earth with Goku? The two would be the same until... The two would be the same. That is until Raditz shows up. So basically those two what ifs happening at the same time. So Ginyu thinking Planet Vegeta, everyone's dead. Bardock becomes Bardock the Believable. Basically, I'd imagine, Ginyu probably wouldn't be involved in the Bardock thing, because she probably would have been like, I'm no use to anybody, I'm best here, but stuff like that. But basically, I'd imagine after all is said and done, it's going to be very awkward, because Bardock would have thought Ginyu was gone, and then Queen Cassava and he have a kid. It's like, oh boy. Oh boy. Oh boy. That would have been very, very awkward.
I believe in miracles.
Oh dear. Cyber Samurai. What if when Krillin was bitten by Fangs the vampire in Barber's tournament, he was infected and became a vampire himself? Well, I'm not really sure. Well, for starters, he wouldn't have been able to fight in the daylight, that's for sure. Thoughts, Haverok?
Yeah, vampires are always problematic. I mean, technically, we have them in the Dragon Ball universe, but they are like a joke more than a serious enemy in later parts. We would have to have a set of rules, because some vampires can survive the light. Some essentially the easiest way how to do it is that not all vampires have the same weaknesses. Yeah,
it's like it kind of varies from place to place.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's fair. Okay. So really, you'd have to make up your own rules for that one. Godwin XZ. What if Bulma got her wish in the Pilaf saga for a boyfriend from the dragon and it brought her Vegeta? I don't think that would happen at the time, because at that time, Bulma's ideal boyfriend was Yamcha. Or something like that.
Yep.
So really, it would have just... Well, no, Shenron would have gone, I cannot do this. Why not? Because your ideal boyfriend is right there.
Oh, Shenron, you're so nice. And Shenron winks at Yamcha.
It's like, no problem, kiddo. I know a good couple when I see one. Yeah, so at that time, it would have been that. But if it were Vegeta, sake of argument, if it were Vegeta, yeah, he'd be very confused. I don't know whether he would be bewitched to Bulma, but if he wasn't, he'd just destroy the planet and leave.
Yeah.
Or he's just like, say, take me to a spaceship or I'll blow the planet up.
Would he be strong enough to destroy the planet at this point?
He probably would have been strong enough to be able to scorch the Earth. At least cause major damage.
Yeah.
Something like that. Okay. Manifesto. What if Oob or Margie was better written or utilized? Well, GT would have been a lot more refreshing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just pure and simple, really. because, you know, if he was better written and utilized, Baby probably would have been defeated by Marjube, pretty much. Or
That's
at least-
actually a good idea to put you know, Ub and Majub somewhere in a story, because we
Yeah.
often skip Ub and Majub. Like,
yeah,
if we find a good justification of putting him somewhere,
yeah,
we will do that.
true, but good point, Manifesto. And then he's back again with, what if Gohan got Ultra Instinct in the Tournament of Power instead of Goku? It would have been depending about whether he had access to God Key, or whether Goku taught him how to talk to, or did the ritual with him, or something like that. Maybe.
And question when?
Exactly. It would have to have been roughly at the same time when they did it with Vegeta, pretty much.
Because if he got it, you know, while fighting the little bug guy, forgot his name, not Ganon, but
Gamisaurus or Damon or something like that.
Damon, yeah, Damon. That would be, you know, kind of funny. Like, he's trying to jump and Gohan is just dodging the small bug guy.
Yeah, exactly.
That could have been hilarious.
That would have been hilarious, yeah. Emo Otaku. What if Ten Shinhan kept up with the Saiyans? Oh, man. I mean... I feel like it's a pipe dream for Ten Shinhan right now. And it is something I'm going to address in a future R&R episode. Yeah, not too distant future. But if he did...
So, yeah. We have, like, similar scenario in What If Goku Defeated Roshi when Tien is kind of...
Yes, so basically, if he got the teaching from Kami and got that understanding, then I think he could be really, really good, and he'd be very disciplined, and he'd be very focused. And probably, if he had been able to keep up with the Saiyans, he would have caused actually some serious damage to Semi-Perfect Cell. Like, serious damage. Like, it wouldn't have just been a stalling tactic, it would have actually been causing injury. That would have been, he'd have been a major asset in that arc. Okay, Papa Archer again. What if Goku felt the Zenkai and Super Saiyan were cheating and wished he was human? I don't think he would do that. Because that's more of like a trait rather than a gift. Like, Goku will use power that he has earned. Like, Super Saiyan is something he earned, pretty much.
Yep.
He earned it. It's a useful power that is unique to him. It's not like he was given this power an instant buff up. And the Zenkai is just something he's always had. And, you know, I think with the Zenkai, he'd have given it a pass because, look, if you say, oh, well, if I decided to do that, then Vegeta would, you know, spam that incessantly. So otherwise, Vegeta would have been exploiting it, certainly. But if he wished he was human, then, yeah. It would not have ended well. Let's just say that.
Also, you must remember that internally, for the most of the series, Goku feels like he is a human. Even though he knows he's a Saiyan, he considers himself an Earthling.
Yeah, no, that is very true. That is very true. Okay. Red Dragon Force 2, asking on behalf of Augustus Abrams. What if Kakarot was the Prince of Saiyans and Nappa followed him to Earth but got delayed by 10 years? Think Supergirl's style of delay. Okay, so basically if Kakarot was the Prince of Saiyans, we'd almost have like a Dragon Ball Z type of affair, only without Nappa.
Yep.
So pretty much that, really. King Snuffleupagus. In your top 10 most useless characters, you put Future Cell. But would he have been able to take on the androids? They had pretty much destroyed most humans, leaving no one for him to absorb. Well, the thing was, though, there were quite a few humans left. The entire populace wasn't destroyed. As in, like, there were still a lot of people. I mean, the androids wouldn't have killed billions of people. Several tens of millions, perhaps. Yeah, over a couple of decades. But I'd imagine Cell, with his sneak-like and bug-like animalistic desire to survive, he would have been able to find his quarry and do so quietly. Especially since the androids can't sense energy. So, all that kind of stuff. Imperfect Cell was very good at sneaking. So I think he'd have probably found a way to get what he needed. And also, find a way to be able to split them up.
Yep.
That kind of stuff.
I mean, they would be totally unprepared for that, and I don't think. And again, think about it. Like the androids from the future, they weren't training because they
No,
didn't have the need.
there's no need to.
17 trained because he wanted to grow in super. But at this point, there was no need for him to increase his power.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Martin Plumley says N7 Spot 95 here. For the record, I changed the title of my fic to Dragon Ball Okan. Just clearing it up so people can find it if they want. Okay. Duly noted, Spartan. So basically, it's called Dragon Ball Okan. O-K-A-N. So if you want to look for it. Nassia Matthias, thank you very much for your contribution. Shield Labs. What if Raditz killed Piccolo and DBZ, and Goku either had to fight Raditz with Krillin and Roshi, or he decides to kill the 100 people like Raditz asked, with the intent to wish them back later with the Dragon Balls? Okay, so it's kind of like almost Goku, like, doing it only with the advantage in knowing that he has Dragon Balls. It'd be a very big dilemma. But I think at the same time, if he, I think out of those two, he wouldn't kill 100 people, even with the Dragon Balls. That's just so wrong. That is so wrong. He wouldn't have been able to forgive himself. He would fight with Krillin and Roshi. Yeah, it would be an uphill struggle. But in the end, probably they'd have to do the same thing, only with Krillin having the Destructo Disc.
Also, they wouldn't have the Dragon Balls.
Oh, because, yeah. No, they wouldn't. That's true.
Yeah, because if Piccolo was gone, then Kami was gone as well.
Yeah, no, that would... Oh, I'm playing the sound. Yeah, Shield Labs, that's the way it would go. Okay. Manifesto. What if Frost in Universe 6 had an older, more powerful brother and subjugated the Universe 6 Saiyans? Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta to the rescue, besides visit? Maybe Frost's brother is named Zickle, like Icicle. Get it? Oh, I get it, Manifesto. Okay, so basically, if Frost had an older brother, so maybe that was the way that Frost decided to become a celebrity and a good guy, because that was the only way he would have actually become relevant, and to show that he'd be more successful than his brother. So maybe Zickle could be like, if he was stronger, it depends how much stronger, because right now, Super Saiyan was, at that time, Super Saiyan was enough to stop Frost. So, I feel that Blue, that you'd had a strong, it would have been a very compelling fight with Super Saiyan Blue versus Zickle. But I think ultimately the Saiyans would have won. But it would have that would have been a good excuse for them to go to Universe 6.
Or, to make things more interesting, Zickle isn't very powerful in terms of strength, but like it's a technological genius, like a galactic president with a lot of security systems in terms of technology.
Ah, right. Okay. No, that's a good point. Okay. Duly noted. Right. Let's see. Next one is Dark Snake X5. Hello, Masako. Hey, man. What if between end of the Buu arc and before the beginning of Super, that Ranch Goten and Trunks gather the Dragon Balls and use it to revive their grandparents? Ah, well, that's got something to do with the way the season finale starts, or happens. It involves something like that, but I'm not going to tell you exactly.
Yeah.
But I know this is a way because so that means Ranch can meet Gine. I know. But I would say it'd be a very interesting dilemma in that King Vegeta, Bardock, and Gine just suddenly appear out of nowhere. But again, you'd have to... They'd asphyxiate in space because Planet Vegeta isn't there. They'd have to be very technical with their wish, for sure. Yeah. Manifesto again. Oh, no, wait, sorry. Anime Guy 01. What if all the human Z warriors got their potential unlocked before the Namekians left Earth? Okay. Oh, so when they were there, Mori could unlock potential. I don't know whether Mori could do that just yet, or if that's something you get when you're, like, have been in the job for a long time. But let's say if it was. I'm surprised they actually didn't do that as some kind of thank you.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't do that. But if they did, then I imagine that would have actually given them a massive head start with the androids. Like Yamcha. Yamcha probably would have been able to cope against Jiro. Not defeat him, but at least being able to not, get a hole in your chest.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would have been a major asset to have, certainly.
And, to give it to characters like Oolong and the other, all the Earthlings from the Z team. That would be
Yeah,
funny.
yeah. I like that. Okay. Season 2 2000. What if Omega Shenron had the ability to absorb ki and ki attacks? Oof.
Oof.
That would have been a challenge. But I think Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta. Oh, because
Dragon
okay.
Fist. Dragon Fist.
Dragon Fist. Unless she resorted to the Dragon Fist, that Universal Spirit Bomb would have not worked.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have had to be the Dragon Fist. Certainly. Paparacha. What if Frieza wanted his Broly wish on Namek? Oh, what was the wish that he wanted again?
To be taller.
Oh, okay. So basically,
That one.
Basically, if he wished to be taller, I think people wouldn't have noticed. He'd have gotten really angry, and probably would have blown up the planet sooner. Something like that. Really, he'd have been very angry that people didn't notice. Red Dragon Force 2. I meant Krillin explaining how the Dragon Balls worked in order for 16, 17, 18 to realize how pointless it is to kill him because he can be revived. Oh, okay, that goes back to a what if from earlier, right?
Yeah.
So basically, that would be a good way to kind of stop them in their tracks, in a way. So yeah, okay, thanks for clarifying that, Dragon. DT Raiden. What if the human Z-Fighters got Bulma to give them cybernetic upgrades to make them close in power to the Saiyans? Depends on how much space technology or what Earth technology can actually make them stronger. And also, I think Ten Shinhan definitely wouldn't do it. But basically,
Maybe Yamcha. Maybe
Yamcha. Yeah, maybe. Let's say if it's Yamcha that decides to do it. It depends.
Hey, cool cyborg arm. Like Yamcha is the guy who would like, hey, yeah, I want a cool cyborg arm. You know, like I feel that Yamcha could.
Yamcha would be the only one who would want to do it. But if he did, depends on how far technology on Earth actually got. Whether he can actually keep up. Yeah. Okay, Anime Guy 01 again. What if Cooler found Broly first? Oh, he'd have been part of his armored squadron. Like, seriously. Absolutely. He wouldn't have destroyed Broly. Certainly not. He'd have realized his power and potential. Being in the six figures, he'd be like, that's actually really good. He probably would have been beaten up by Broly, getting angry and having to use his fifth form, but almost be like amazed by the fact that he has this power.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, he would use Broly, absolutely. Yeah, certainly. Zarkvet92. What if Vegeta never betrayed Nappa? Okay, so like, say for example, he gives Nappa some ki to live. That means he survives. He'd have probably left Nappa on Earth because there's only Nappa's spaceship. Unless he says to Nappa, and Nappa's pod is still around. He'd have probably given him enough ki to be able to like fly back to his ship and tell Nappa to get out of there. Because I'm, saying you're no use to me right now. Go back to the Frieza planet and stuff like that. That'd be the only way, or I'd say.
Question is if when Goku would beat Vegeta, would Nappa's loyalties not shift? Like to see that. Yeah, Vegeta, you're actually pretty weak.
I imagine he'd be very conflicted at the very least.
Yeah.
There'd be that dilemma and that dichotomy, certainly. Okay. Let's see where we are. Just lost my track there. Let's see. Oh, sorry. 1 second. I lost my place. Manifesto. What if there was a silver form like Silver Frieza or Silver Cooler? I'd like to think Silver Cooler would ironically be stronger because of subversion. Yeah, that's true. Silver being stronger than gold. Yeah, that's true. But at the same time, Cooler has such a brother complex. I think it would maybe he'd do that, but the fact is in Heroes he said, well, if my brother can do it, then so can I. That's so dumb.
And dumb. It's also told that basically Frieza chose how this form would look like.
Yeah.
So in a way, like he had whole freedom of how this form looked like. He had a full control. It could be, pink and polka dot if he wanted to. It's just an aesthetic choice that Frieza chose to mock Saiyans.
Yeah, exactly.
Basically.
True. So basically, Cooler, in a way, by being Golden Cooler, he's actually just aping his brother and falling into that trap again. So maybe Silver Cooler, it would be interesting to do that if he knew about Golden Frieza and say, well, I'm going to do this with a different type of color. And stuff like that. Titan 680. What if Goku was raised and trained by the Earth's military Royal Defense Army, being taught military training and tactics? Oof. I'd probably say that if he were, then they probably would make him into some kind of super soldier type thing. Because they've realized his potential at such a young age.
He would be a Captain America type of character then.
Yeah, no, he'd be Captain America. He'd basically be the poster child of the Earth Defense Force. He'd be certainly that, definitely. Heartless Fang. Based on your recent Frieza video, Masako, what if the market for the planet trade collapsed? Who would be left to buy since there are only 28 left?
I know, right? That's a good question.
That is a very good question. I know that people have liked to say and clarify that, what they mean by 28 planets is that there's only 28 beings of, planets that have powerful beings on them, or something like that. But it's kind of disputed, but let's say there are only 28 planets where it actually has, a good yield, good civilization, powerful people, strong people, and meaningful assets. Basically, the prices would be jacked up higher and higher and higher, and then there's not enough buyers and stuff like that. So basically, Frieza's empire would just have to be resorted just to the sheer power of it. Like, the initial thing that got it strong and powerful would ultimately have just been, turned to dust, almost.
Yeah, but this is one of the weirdest things about Frieza still being, a land shark, because with how he's handling his empire, that the empire itself doesn't fit to the land shark, because why sell planets to people when you can conquer them, when you are conquering them? Who are you selling them to? This was always weird to me.
Well, I think nowadays he doesn't do it to sell to the highest bidder. He just wants to take them.
Yeah.
He just takes them and keep them for himself, certainly. Okay. Nick May 98, thank you very much for becoming a member. Thank you. And Sourceboy, thank you very much for your super chat, as well as Nick May 98. And sorry, that is the door. And just to go, Dark Snake X5 says, what if normal female pregnant humans with Saiyan babies become Saiyan themselves? Haverok, I'll leave that with you.
Yeah. So, that's not how genetics work, but if it was, it would be pretty weird. I know that you are referring to, the whole Videl incident, but basically, I think that it could give, we have three characters in mind here, right? We have Chi-Chi, and I don't think she would be initially happy because, oh no, I became a delinquent, which, as we know, Chi-Chi likes to overuse this word, and she would despise it initially, at least. I think Bulma would have been okay with this, and basically tried to use her new abilities, and hey, she would age slower, and that's how. And I think that would be an advantage, and I think Videl would be cool with it as well. She would like to train to get on Gohan's level, maybe to motivate him to train again.
Okay, that could be good. And yeah, that was just the Amazon guy. It was something for a potential future video concerning Raditz merch, the weirdest Raditz merch, and I got one thing, the centerpiece. You'll see that in a future video. But yeah, so thank you very much for that, Haverok. Let's see. Robert Barrows is next. What if Kaba, Caulifla, and Kale were involved in the Broly movie? Like they were training with Goku and Vegeta and got caught up in the hijinks. I'd imagine probably if they were training together, the guys, Vegeta and Goku probably would have just told them to hold back and stuff like that. And they'd have probably gone off, and Caulifla would have been like, I want to go too, and stuff like that. So probably...
I think, Kale would try to help Broly.
I think, yeah, basically, I'd imagine they would have probably flown off they'd have gone off, Goku and Vegeta would have gone off, done the fighting, and then Caulifla, Kale, and Kaba, they'd have come out later, they'd have flown after them. And then basically by the time they get there, Kale would try and like recognize a similar power and try and reason with them. Or actually power up herself and try and like counter him. It'd actually be really interesting. Kale versus male Kale. Yeah,
and Chilai would have so jealous, even though I'm pretty sure like Kale wouldn't be interested in Broly. It would be like like Chilai could read that as as a possible rival.
Ooh.
I mean, not even triangle. I feel, but like in her head, that would be a triangle, and I feel Kale and Broly would become friends.
Maybe more than that.
I don't think so.
Oh goodness! Either way, it would actually be a really compelling story. Yeah. Clay McDaniel. What if King Vegeta accepted Broly? Also, what if the Saiyans sent away by King Vegeta survived? Okay, so basically, if King Vegeta accepted Broly as
we did that.
We have done
we
that,
did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was that what if Vegeta...
King Vegeta saw the future.
Yes. So if you watch that video, that will basically work on that up. And Stalebread, I know that you've been seeing that. Dragon Ball R&R Episode 5 is being worked on. We will hopefully have that out in sometime in February.
Yeah.
Basically, we've had a bit of production setbacks, but we've now got everything back on track now, so everything's looking good. And Episode 6, we're working on early pre-production. So, yeah, wait and see. Manifesto, what if Vegeta hooked up and had a kid with Launch or someone at least in What If Goku Married Bulma? Or is he going to be a single Pringle prince forever? Single Pringle, I like that.
Single Pringle.
I think ultimately, maybe he would shack up with someone like Launch or something like that. I don't know. But I think right now he's more focused on getting stronger. He's hanging around Capsule Corp, certainly, to train with Kakarot and Vegeta. Get Kakarot and Gohan. Yep. But right now, he's not really thinking about kids or something like that. He just wants to get stronger. So that ship kind of sailed. So,
I'm not ready for that kind
of commitment. Maybe if he does become Majin Vegeta in the next part, maybe I might write that in. So by the time we get to Super, he might have a kid or something like that. Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nightcore C12. What if you could jump inside of the world of Dragon Ball? You're only as powerful enough to hold your own in each arc. What would you do? Okay, so that's a good question. So basically, I wouldn't be... In theory, you wouldn't be strong, but you'd be strong enough to basically be able to survive. I'd probably be able to kind of use my knowledge in a way to aid my allies or something like that. Something like that. Something like... Think case of being reincarnated as Yamcha. Because Yamcha in that story wasn't the strongest, but he was certainly really up there and being way more stronger than he was in the original, certainly. So I think something along those lines, really. Just use the knowledge to your own advantage. Certainly. Manifesto. Masako, can I send what ifs on your subreddit? Yeah, sure, go for it. That's what it's mainly there for. Joey V. Given how strong Salnel and Pilina were, what if Piccolo fused an en masse to deal with Boo's threat? Oh, wow, okay. So basically, if Piccolo got the idea in the Boo saga to fuse with multiple people, to multiple Namekians, oh yeah, no, Boo would have been destroyed. Yeah. Like, seriously, Boo would have been destroyed. Totally. Because there are only like about a couple of hundred Namekians that Salnel and Pilina fused with, and that was with a mix of Namekians. So yeah, that was pretty nuts. When I found
and keep in mind that there are not that many Namekians in Universe 7.
Yeah, but still there'll be more than enough to... Yeah. Even if it was just like with all the Warrior Clan on New Namek.
Yeah. How do we call now your Piccolo? Call me Maximum Green.
Maximum Overgreen.
Overgreen.
Yeah. Oh. That would have been nuts. Seriously. Okay. We have got next Solo War. No. Sorry, Joey Jambo 122. What if Goku landed on planet Namek? We've done this quite a few times actually. He probably would have been okay, but his diet would have been vastly different. Like the Namekians would have had to have grown plants or something like that.
He would probably end up as a honorary member of the Dragon Clan.
Oh yeah, of course, because dragons and stuff.
punching people because he like I don't think Goku can create Dragon Balls, but I'm
No.
pretty sure he can punch people.
Yeah, he can punch people, certainly. He'd be a Dragon Clan member, certainly. Solar Warrior. What if Goku trained on a neutron star somehow with oxygen? A neutron star has gravity of billions to trillions times Earth gravity. Also, a teaspoon of unstable matter would weigh as neutron star matter would weigh as much as Mount Everest. Yeah, but neutron star. No, he'd be crushed. Like seriously, like. Yeah, okay, granted, in Super, 400, 500 times they can handle it, but billions? Oof. No.
I mean, they punch a hole in reality, so you never know. Like
You
you
never
don't
know.
you don't know how God, Gods of Destruction, train. Maybe this is something that Virus and Champa do to their brotherly reunions from time to time.
Maybe. I can imagine that would be the ultimate means of making people absolutely insanely powerful.
Yeah.
Like, basically, like, Broly goes to train on a neutron. That would sound so metal, though. Yo, Broly has been training in secret for years on top of a neutron star. Billions and trillions times Earth's gravity. Broly is metal. Broly is edge. Seriously, that sounds like something Broly would do. Training on a neutron star. That sounds epic.
Neutrino weighted clothes.
That sounds great. Oh man. Beast King Zero. What would you think of building off the Vegeta from Earth story? Isn't that basically DragonBallZ?
Yeah.
I really need to remind myself of Psy, but basically it's a compelling idea. Vegeta having an understanding of, Saiyan people and then basically Earth, a good mix. I would say.
Yeah, and we are trying to avoid like some of the big time stories that already had been done.
Yeah, exactly. We try and like keep to the ones that have been less asked or, really popular. Like very like if we have a good idea. Yeah, that's the most important thing. If we don't have a good idea, then we don't want to waste you guys' time.
Yeah. The problem with Psy is decent enough that like any idea feels like a derogative, really.
Yeah, that's true.
And repetition.
Yeah. Okay. I think at this time we're going to be calling time in 5 minutes of when we will be stopping submissions. So yeah, 5 minutes we'll be calling time. Because otherwise we'll be going on forever. Okay. Next one is Sorrel the Soul. What if the humans of Earth took fighting and ki more seriously after King Piccolo? That is very true, because Kakarot has reminded us that in those 5 years, the humans don't really train. They don't really train after that. So, let's say, for example, they did. And in turn, that meant Piccolo would have trained more. When Raditz showed up, the special beam cannon probably would have been even more effective. Like, maybe they would have been more of a challenge to Raditz in terms of just, one-on-one fighting.
I think that this would be the time that, for example, that Tien could use, but also Master Shen would use to his nefarious deeds, because he would offer the key training people. And create the Crane School and got a lot of Crane acolytes.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe that would lead to his possible team up with Dr. Giro, later on.
Yeah.
And the Crane Academy.
Yeah, in a way.
You know what? That's a cool idea. Like, what if there was a key trading craze after King Piccolo?
Okay, we'll make a note of it. Good one, Sorrel. Vulcan's next with what if Chi-Chi was the daughter of Tora and Fasha? So he sent to Earth raised by Ox King. What if Chi-Chi never stopped training and any plans to do Naruto what ifs? Naruto what ifs? No, because I don't know enough about Naruto. Chi-Chi never stopped training. She'd probably be quite strong for a human at the time. Probably being weighing outclassed eventually and wanting to take care of Gohan in that regard. But again, having a much more better understanding about training. So not stopping Gohan, not getting in his way. And that would have been really interesting in terms of a dynamic, finding out, Ox King found this pod or something like that. And once he finds out about that, he's like, wait a minute, that reminds me of the time when I found Chi-Chi. Oh man, this is going to be a big wake-up call. Stuff like that. That would have been a big twist, certainly. Max Phoenix, promote my subreddit r/what if fiction. Well, there you go, r/what if fiction.
Promoting.
Yep, cheeky plug there. I know. I must admit that was a cheeky plug. Here's app 777. What if Hercule was never world champion? So no taking credit for Cell, no Boo friendship, no Earth giving energy for Spirit Bomb. Okay, let's just say he was like, he didn't win the World Martial Arts Tournament, but he still got himself a name for his eccentric fashion. So maybe this would have been a way for him to, he probably wouldn't have been as popular because he wasn't the champion. But
he wouldn't pop up in the Cell games for sure.
No.
But I think he could. The first time we could see him would be during the Goku's one day. Granted, if the Sea Fighters would defeat Cell, and that Gohan would turn Super Saiyan 2, but I think somebody would manage with passing 16's head over. So I think that he would pop up much later, and would be just a one-off comic character.
Yeah, I think he would have just been a one-off, I should say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Robert Barrows is next. What if the Universe 6 Saiyans were involved in the Broly movie Moro arc? Well, we sort of just went over that earlier, but basically, I'd imagine they'd probably be in there for extra kind of fan service for people that like the Universe 6 Saiyans. It'd probably be an interesting dynamic, but at the same time, I imagine Champa would have probably just told them to come back to their own universe and don't meddle in this affair, or something like that.
I mean, the worst thing that could happen if the worst scenario would be if Moro like retreated to Universe 6. He would have a wholly new ripe universe.
Yeah, basically just like say like he suddenly disappears and no one knows where he's gone. Like it could.
I would love to see me some Hit versus Moro.
Oh my, that would be awesome. Like seriously. If they do that in the actual story, I'd be jumping up and down and go like, "Oh my god, this is amazing!" It'd be awesome. Okay, Paparazzo again. What if Juro made Ten Shinhan and Chaozu into 17 and 18? Ooh, that would have been a bit of a challenge. I mean, he probably would have been able to take them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that would have been an interesting and very dramatic way of doing it, I would say.
Yeah. It's kind of like we did with the Majin Tien and Majin Chaozu.
Yeah. So it would have been actually a very big conflict for our heroes. Like especially with Vegeta having no respect for the lives of their former friends and it'd be up to Vegeta to be able to do it.
Yeah, but it would be a point of conflict between the heroes.
True. Okay, and with that, Super Chat submissions are now closed. Thank you very much for all of your contributions today. Please do not send any more, because we are just going to go through the rest of the backlog. And Chancellor, I'll let that go. Okay, I was doing that while you were saying that, but thank you very much for that. So, yeah. Please do not send any more, because we need to get through the rest of them. But thank you very much all the same. So, moderators, do make sure to remind people when you can. Thank you. Okay. Red Dragon Force 2 asks from Dion Joyner's behalf, what if Masako could pick on one of his what-ifs to be made canon? Like the Broly movie. I think he means like Broly did with his new movie. Oh, Raditz turned good. No doubt. I mean, Gine's a close second, certainly. But Raditz? Come on, it's Raditz. Like,
it's Raditz.
I put so much effort over that. It's like, I really need to, I can't not say that as my answer. Manifesto. What if Broly got God Key and at most blue in training? Maybe they could do that once he was able to like kind of almost control his ki, because I think that's the first step that Goku would want to do, to make sure he could control himself all the time. So, but once he did that, I imagine he would probably end up getting blue, because I think Goku would want him to tap into that.
Yeah, you know, for me, like, it would take a little bit of Broly's charm, and if he got key, like, I prefer him to be like Jiren, you know, the rose tools range, the aspect the
True.
physical aspect rather than the spiritual,
True.
and being and finding discipline in that,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
finding something entirely new, you know.
Yeah. Okay. I will. That is very true. Fair enough. I will go with that. That's very true. Vulcan is next. What if Hinata had the Nine Tails beast? Okay, this is like a Naruto. What if? As far I don't really know how to answer that fully, but basically that would have been a major plot twist if she was basically with the Nine Tails inside of her. This really, really quiet, timid ninja shinobi having this power. This would have been like, whoa! Everyone thinking Naruto has it, but basically Hinata has that even more. Oof. Jeez.
Basically Kale in Naruto
Kale.
universe.
It's Kale. Yeah, let's just say it's Kale. Paparacha. What if Goku did eat the 4-star ball in GT? I think he did. Kunoichi. Sorry, Red Dragon. Kunoichi. So basically, I think Goku did swallow a Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
So basically, it did happen. Paparacha says again, I'm curious, when will your future Ginyu video be? Oh, future Ginyu.
Yeah, we are talking about this, like, future Ginyu helping against Goku Black. Remember this one?
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to explain you guys something. Like, we are making a lot of stuff in advance, so we are trying to create a lot of backlog. So we were thinking about this one. In fact, before we started the conversation, we were planning the agenda for this year. So this what if is in our notes. We are working of it, but it isn't something that we are working on immediately because we need to get through some older stories, because some of the stories are outstaying their welcomes while others need to take some breath. Yeah, we need to get to them. So we didn't forget about this.
Okay. Tentacle E basically asked, "What if Goku was gay?" Okay. Well, we sort of went over this when Sophie was last here.
Yeah.
But basically, let's just keep this short. In this regard, I feel like if it would most likely be Krillin. In that regard, that he'd have a crush on in that sense.
Yeah.
Sort of. But in a way, it would be very, very difficult to make that work in Dragon Ball. Yeah, as it was written at the time. I personally would be very interested in seeing something like that happen in modern day Dragon Ball, or at least experimented with. Sort of like what people think is with Kale and Caulifla in a way. Because I do find it interesting that it was very, very, very alluded to in the sub, but in the dub, they sort of doubled down on it. Like, they sort of actually ran with it. So, it's something like that. But again, I don't really know how to fully express this properly. So again, this is why I quite like having, multiple angles in that kind of way. So, yeah, that's pretty much as best I can answer, mate. Frost the Hobbit and White Lion. Or Frost. What if Slug fused with Piccolo's dad to fight Piccolo? Oh, so basically, what if Slug fused with King Piccolo? That'd be
where he would got King Piccolo from.
Well, basically, in a way, in terms of the plot, he's basically the same thing. But
I got
he kind of is though.
But
I would say if he was able to find a way to wish back King Piccolo and forcibly fuse, like say almost like kind of almost go to like you want to get back at the person that destroyed you, right? Like he'd be using King Piccolo's malice against him to get what he wants. So in that way, that would have been quite interesting. So if he did, it'd have been very interesting to find out that if he did fuse and then Piccolo could sense some of his dad in him, it would actually been a really conflicting and interesting way, father meeting son. Dramatically, it could be interesting, certainly. Red Dragon Force 2 says on behalf of Anime Trap, what if Goku was reborn as Goten and King Yama allowed Goku to keep his memories, similar to Kid Oob reborn as Oob? Me, this sounds amazing. Okay, so basically, say for example, if Goku, for example, he didn't get to keep his body when he died a second time, or something like that. And the only way that, and King Yama knew it, like you could only be brought back once to keep your body, and then if it happened, you couldn't do it. So maybe King Yama thinks, well, okay, the only way I can make this work is if I reincarnate Goku as Goten. That'd be interesting. That'd be a
Poor
really
Chi-Chi.
good way of doing it.
Poor Chi-Chi. Poor Chi-Chi.
I feel bad for Chi-Chi, yes, but at the same time, it would be a very refreshing means of doing it. So basically, it means that Goku has to grow up again.
Yeah.
But at the same
Imagine Vegeta. Kakarot is life. I'm taking Kakarot by, and he's training. Let's train. Let's put you back to where you were. We need to fight. We need to train.
It's like, no, I won't. I will not stand for this. Like Vegeta's having a metaphysical crisis.
Yeah, and he would take and train Goku.
Totally. Molly Shadows says, how would you rewrite Goku and Chi-Chi's marriage so it's actually sweet and loving? Okay. Well, speaking as someone who is now recently married, one thing that is very important in any kind of lasting relationship is compromise. I feel that Chi-Chi doesn't really compromise as much, and Goku's guilty of this too. Neither of them compromise, as in they don't really appreciate what each other brings to the relationship in a way, except for Goku with Chi-Chi's cooking. But honestly, if Goku found someone who could cook better, he probably would have been skedoodling. But he did keep his promise to marry. That is laudable. But I also feel on Chi-Chi's part, she would need to understand that about what that training and martial arts makes Goku happy. And maybe he wants to share that happiness with his son. So really, she should not be as belligerent when it comes to march training and stuff like that. And I feel like if she did actually appreciate that and understand it, she'd be a lot less stressed. She'd be more relaxed, certainly.
Also, like the problem with how Toriyama writes Chi-Chi, is like she feels really, really like a character that has at least partially real world person logic in the magical world of Dragon Ball.
True, yeah, that's true.
Like she doesn't react to stuff that to most normal people would be magical and whimsical with enthusiasm. That's one thing, and I think that for it to rewrite it, I would get rid of that whole dated trope of her considering blonde people delinquents, which is something from the culture, from Japanese culture, and it's also a horrible translation, that whole delinquent thing.
Yeah, but basically, just having her go not as often going scream, something like that. Basically, less screaming, pretty much.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, Molly. Patrick Gill, what if Nappa and Vegeta kidnap Gohan?
Hey, Vegeta, look, that kid's really strong. He'd be very useful, Vegeta. I've missed Raditz being a dog's body.
Like, yes, that's true, Nappa. Let's make him a dog. Stuff like that.
Yeah, but you take care of him, Raditz. Nappa. Yeah.
Yay! I got a pet.
I'm going.
Vegeta.
I call you New Raditz.
I'm calling you Nappa Jr. Come on, son. Let's go home.
No, but I would say, Nappa would take Gohan under his wing. Well, in that way.
Yeah.
So, certainly. Kind of almost reflecting what he had with Vegeta earlier as a kid. Podo. Yeah. What if Raditz Scout had detected Goku's power level as being equal to at least half of his, and detected him as being inside the King of the World's castle, among a few other strong guys? What would Raditz's first assumption be? Okay. Well, if Raditz realized that Goku's power was like around 800 or something like that, he probably would have thought twice about fighting him, because any kind of ki blast would actually hurt him in that regard. But I think he would be a bit more shrewd and careful, because Raditz at that time was very careful and shrewd, I think.
Yeah.
So I think he would basically, Raditz would think twice in that regard. And Battle Amore, don't worry about the super chat. It's okay. We'll honor it. But yeah, I think that's what it will be, Podo. Raditz's first assumption would be there are a lot of strong people here. I've got to be really careful. He'd have to wait until he could spring them up on unawares one by one. But at the same time, that would be impossible because he doesn't know that Goku could sense energy. So Goku could sense something going on and then formulate a plan, and then they could take down Raditz. So they have the element of surprise. James Cameron, What if Yamcha allowed Bulma to give him the android upgrades at 17 and 18? We did sort of go over this earlier, but Yamcha is the most likely one to actually have that happen to him. To try and find a way to catch up quickly. Get strong quick scheme, pretty much. So if he did, he'd actually be really compelling. I think Ten Shinhan would be disappointed that Yamcha tried to take the easy way out, but I think Yamcha wouldn't care. Yeah, it's something that he wanted to do. Jubal Cheek, thank you very much for becoming a member. A Master Champion, no less. So thank you very much, Jubal.
Welcome to the Masa.
As the same goes
Champion,
for Robert Barrows as well, for the Master Like. Thank you. Firebrand128. What if Vegeta died in the Saiyan saga and Goku wished him reborn like Kid Buu? Would this lead to Atajev down the line? Sorry, it's late. But basically, that could be interesting. Basically, if Goku defeats Vegeta with a Spirit Bomb, but has to say, yeah, this was really cool, Vegeta. Let's hope we have a thing again. So we get Adjective as like some kind of human with Saiyan ki or something like that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. And I think basically he'd be a lot more compliant. But you wouldn't see the fruits of that until at least the Android saga.
Yeah.
At least.
That means no trunks.
Probably not until the Buu saga, actually.
Yeah.
Season 2 2000. What if Zamasu went back in time to the beginning of Mortals in each universe to teach them to do ways he sees right? Okay, that's very true. With the time ring. So it's kind of like just an even more extreme version of what if Zamas did nothing wrong. So he just goes back to the beginning of creation and just like plants, like he basically just puts down monoliths, pretty much. He is the monolith, essentially. So every single universe would just start with and stuff like that. Yeah. Zamasu would be the monolith, in short. You know, he'd just do everything the way he wants them to. And that's the only way that he would seem that mortals would be worthy. Because they're doing everything that he told them to do. Alright.
And as we know, Zamas knows best.
Yes, Zamas knows best. We are working on a cover of that eventually. I want to do that because that was fun. Alpha165. What if Bulma became evil? Oh. Basically, she would find out some way of using the Dragon Radar against them. At first, it'd be like screwing around with the technology, being less reliable, kind of catch the people unawares. Then ultimately, it'd be kind of using entrapment. But ultimately, also, would have to probably some possession from Dabura. Like, Dabura wants to find a way to kind of bring down the Dragon Team, but the best way to do it is with Bulma, the person that everyone trusts. So that would be the best way to.
I mean, like if you wonder how, see what Baby did with her, the parasited version.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the perfect example.
Look to baby Bulma. That's the best thing to do. That is very true, Haverok. Good point. Joey Jambo 122. What if Baby Goku landed on Namek? We have talked about this already, but in short, he'd be a Dragon Clan member with a very vegetable-rich diet. The Jurassic Show, emphasizing from their Kai, Angel, and God team. Boz comes from Booze, Type comes from Typhon, and Yagma from Jägermeister. I apologize for not giving you something useful. Jurassic Show.
It's Jaeger a deer-shaped God because that would be perfect.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like on the label, that'd be great.
Like a Celtic deer.
Celtic origins, great. I like that.
Yeah.
Titan 680. Continue from my previous question on the Saiyan Tuple alliance. How much would this drastically change in the Dragon Ball continuity? Stronger Saiyans? Having Saiyan Tuple hybrids, maybe? Definitely hybrids, certainly. Stronger Saiyans? Maybe. Maybe, because they would be able to blend in with society, have a better diet, have kind of better living conditions.
I would say they might become one society and have
over time.
Some sort. Yeah.
Over time, they would definitely have some kind of blend. You're right there, certainly.
They will become one species, like Staffles, Tayans. Tayans sounds kind of cooler.
Stayans. They're staying around.
Yeah, staying around.
They're staying alive. Joey Jambo. What if a Baby Goku landed on planet Namek? You've asked this again before. So basically, Joey Jambo, in short, Goku, vegetable diet, Dragon Clan. So that's your second time of asking. So that's basically, yeah, in short, that's what would happen. Frost, what if Nappa was revived in the What If Raditz Turn Good? I imagine if Nappa was ever resurrected, it would be for Raditz just to do it out of for a joke, like saying, "Hey, guess what? Yeah, let's bring back Nappa. I want to dunk on him." It's like Nappa. So basically, Raditz pretends to be like, "Where have you been, Nappa? We've got to go and destroy the Earth."
Raditz, what are you doing here?
Gets his scouter. It's like,
Holy moly! Where did you get this strong? The scouter must be broken.
Yes, it's strong. Yes, Nappa, I never really liked you. Goodbye. Oh, that felt good. He'd bring Nappa back just to kill him. Just to do
That's
that.
dark.
I think he'd do it. He'd do it. Because, Nappa did a lot of bad things, and he killed loads of, his now friends. So, he'd just do it to bring him back, and pretend, lure him in, and then just go, by the way, Nappa, I didn't like you. That was for all the years of actually making him,
Yeah. Butt of a joke.
As it were.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Solo Warrior, I did answer your question. We did do that earlier. It just, there's a bit of a backlog sometimes. That's where it usually goes. If you're patient, then we do get to you. Manifesto is next. What if Gohan in What If Goku Married Bulma grew up? Would his hair color and gi make him look similar to Toriko, except not as muscular? Well, in the next part, you do see him grow up. But at the moment, really, as far as I can tell, he'd basically be the same type of dimensions as regular Gohan, just with, lavender hair, pretty much. So, he will be growing up in the next part, certainly. ZachVet92. What if Frieza and Jiro teamed up happened without Zamasu? So basically, if Dr. Jiro found out about Frieza without Zamasu's influence. It'd be very interesting to about how he managed to get in contact with him. But I imagine similar things would happen. In that,
But Jiro would won. Simple as that.
Yeah, Jiro would have won, pretty much. Jiro would have been able to blow Frieza up and get what he wanted. Yeah, basically, what happened in the Frieza and Jiro thing without Zamasu destroying Jiro, pretty much. Carter Jarman. What if Goku Black came back in time during Hit's assassination attempt on Goku? The ensuing confusion would change the whole arc drastically. Oof. More time travel, jeez. So basically, if Goku Black went to that point and pretended to be Goku, he'd have to play it smart that time around. So basically, if he finds out that, it didn't work out, the Zero Mortal plan, he'd have to find some other way of doing it. So he'd have to, kind of blend in almost. But badly.
I think it would be very hard for him, because his pride would hurt. Oh, yes, I'm that Goku fellow. Let's go, the woman that I'm sharing home with me.
You beautiful lady who lives in my house.
Yeah, and the smaller version of me.
Yeah. And
That is kind of weird today, Mom.
And then he doesn't eat. Or he only eats a little. Then everyone knows something is up.
Yeah. Okay, you are not Goku.
Yeah, you're not Goku. You're not eating nearly as much. Red DragonBallZ 2. Timothy Lee asks, what if Jiren was born in Universe 7? Basically, it's Broly. Jiren goes under the radar for the longest time. Goku is thinking about going to other universes, and then discovers Jiren instead of Broly. Then Goku says, why do I need to go to other universes? There's still a lot to discover here. Boom. So pretty much just he'd be replacing Broly in that regard.
Yep.
Whether that's good or not, I'll leave that up to you. Feces Eater, thank you very much for your contribution. Juvenile, immature, toilet human name. Yeah. Richard Ariko, what if humans could transform like a Saiyan? Well, we do. If you listen to Sophie B's thing about what if Krillin had a power up, basically that is pretty much a good way of doing it. Like mixing Kaioken in with like Roshi's kind of training. So that what if of hers is very, very good to that, relevant to that situation. Auto Johnny, what if Goku was on time for the Saiyan invasion? Okay, so basically if King Kai didn't get the times mixed up. Well, I think Ten Shinhan would have probably still been alive. I think Yamcha still would have succumbed.
Yeah. Maybe Chaozu would also
maybe
be still around.
Chaozu, yeah, but I think Ten Shinhan would have still been alive. But yeah, I think, Ten Shinhan would have still been alive, definitely. Red Dragon Force 2. Augustus means that Nappa would have landed on Earth 2 years prior to Bulma meeting Goku and Kakarot. Meaning it's like Dragon Ball Z with Nappa. Oh, well, I think maybe Nappa would have tried to play dumb or something like that. Maybe. Or like he'd be constantly trying to like say,
Hey Vegeta, look! It's your old Uncle Nappa! Yay!
and then like Vegeta would have no clue what he was. Or maybe he did, or something like that. I don't know. Be something. It'd be very interesting that Nappa tries to get through to Vegeta in that way, or something like that, and that Vegeta's really conflicted about whether to acknowledge it or not, something like that.
Yeah.
Blake James,
Great.
how do you think God Key would interact with Ultimate? Would Gohan have access to its full potential? What if the Super Saiyan God ritual worked for all 5 Saiyans? Okay, so basically, if the ritual happened and everyone got God Key, that would be interesting.
Technically, the old guy, it's a game thing, so we don't know treat that, but ultimate form is technically more powerful than than even the god form, so I don't think it would make more of a difference, because if Gohan got God Key at the top of ultimate power, that would be 2 separate power-ups, and he wouldn't know how to use God Key yet.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
like those two doesn't mix. I don't think they do.
Not enough information yet. Not enough information.
Yeah, but what if all 5 Saiyans? That would be kind of hilarious with Pan. But Beerus would love to punch all of them at the same time. Like the fight, Beerus against 4 Saiyans.
Oh yeah, no, Beerus would destroy the planet. He'd be loving it. So
yeah, he would be fighting 4 Super Saiyan gods at the same time.
He'd struggle, actually. I think he'd struggle.
I mean, we could see more of his real power, but he would defeat them.
Yeah. Zion Walker. What if after the Buu Saga, Goku met the original Super Saiyan God, Yamoshi, and boom, now he has infinite training, since in the other world you don't get tired when they got wished back from the Battle of Gods. Yeah, so basically what we all thought that the Broly movie was going to be, that Goku would meet the first Super Saiyan God, Yamoshi.
Yeah.
Would that have been a better story? Maybe. But then, good Broly... Excuse me? Good Broly, endearing enough that I could give it a pass. But that would have been a more interesting story. Better story? Debatable. But, yeah. Manifesto. What if Super Saiyan 2 Gohan had listened to Goku and ended Semi-Perfect Cell after 18 was puked up? How would things change if that happened like Goku pleaded? Yes, okay, so basically Gohan didn't act like a jerk. Cell probably would have been destroyed, basically. Like, as soon as he became Semi-Perfect Cell, Gohan would have just gone like, boom, you're done.
The most obvious thing, Goku would still be alive, so
Yeah,
Vegeta and Goku would train, and Vegeta would go chill much earlier, and they had chance to become friends between the cells again.
Yeah, and we wouldn't have Majin Vegeta.
Yeah.
Yeah, much more chilled, certainly. Titan 680. What if Upa of the Karinga tribe trained to be stronger along with Goku and Krillin? Would he become a strong ally for the Z Warriors in DBZ events? Perhaps. It's all if you train, and if you train with Goku and Krillin, you are going to get some benefits.
Yep.
So yeah, you just have Upa there too. And then that would have made the likeness to Power Stone even more compelling, because there is a strong Native American in there.
Yep.
Yeah, the Power Stone just rips off Goku so much, seriously. Manifesto. What if Frieza wasn't recruited for the Tournament of Power, and if he wasn't, Cooler replaced him in the Broly movie, finally making his appearance and had his 5th form? That would have been interesting in of itself, but the way Frieza was written for the Broly movie was excellent.
Yeah, and that scenario is in What If Raditz Turned Good?
Part
basically
13.
That.
Absolutely. So if you want to get a good idea about what we like, just listen to Part 13. Okay. Ben reads. Question. When did Pilaf turn into a child? Thanks. This was before Resurrection F, pretty much. But then it was rewritten into Super, as in it was between Z and Super, that they wished to be young again.
Yep.
But then they didn't. They wished to be younger. But basically they ended up going too far. They ended up being babies, pretty much.
Which is like a cheeky, I think a cheeky reference to GT.
Yeah, pretty much. It's a cheeky reference to that, probably. Praetorian Mars. What if the reason we haven't seen Cooler is because he attempted a coup against King Cold and was subsequently imprisoned and then forgotten about after Cold's death? Interesting. Makes sense in a way. The shunned first elder son. It probably would have been meaning that Cooler would be there to basically destroy Frieza. Like he's not going to be on the same side as Goku and the rest of them, but basically he will do anything to basically usurp and undermine his brother. Pretty much.
I believe that this is the scenario that can go. That again, like Cooler is sealed somewhere. Again, my favorite thing: Cooler is in the cooler, literally.
Yeah, he's in the That could be really interesting. Like he'd be a proper anti-villain. Seriously. Yeah. Alpha 165. What if Bulma became an evil scientist after the Cell Saga? Okay, so say for example, she is tempted by all the powers and the things that
evil.
Yeah, basically she got all the plans and schematics from Jiro, and got really tempted to make more like super soldiers.
He takes his hat, puts it on her head, and I'm Dr. Jiro.
Yes. Pretty much. It would all have to come down to temptation from what Dr. Giro came up with in a cave.
And she would create the blue. She would create the Blue Bloomers army.
Yeah, exactly. And that sounds more intimidating than Red Pants, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Two-Face Bot 173. Thank you very much for becoming a member. Manifesto. Manifesto. What if Perfect Cell replaced Frieza in the Tournament of Power and had to have fought by Ultimate Gohan's side? Would their relationship be similar to their fighters' cutscenes? Yeah, I think so. I think there'd be that kind of tension, but I think ultimately, Cell would have been really impressed.
Yeah.
I think Cell would have actually been a really entertaining addition. You know.
I think Cell would be more mad at Gohan. Hadn't he be like properly strong, because he would feel embarrassed that he lost against him. If Gohan would be actually strong, so would be like, okay, at least I'm strong. At least I lost against this.
Yeah, I think he'd be actually almost like an ironic motivator for Gohan.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically, I'm still around. You know, I will be here to give you a hard time. Yeah, but also Cell would have realized I'm not the strongest anymore. So I'm basically going to be shrewd here. But yeah. Noah Castle. What if Vegeta was sent to Earth instead and hit his head? We basically had DragonBallZ. If you read the manga DragonBallZ, I would recommend that, Noah. Sin Overlord. Hey, Masako, hopefully you didn't mind that Bardock colouring I did for you on Twitter. No, certainly not, mate. No, I don't quite remember it right now, but if you just send that to me again or point to the tweet, then yeah, just resend it again. But I never turn down the chance to see fan art. That's always great. Red Dragon Force 2. What if Hercule only publicly denounced the Z Fighters, but privately apologized to them and maybe asked for help or training? Also Videl as well. So basically, Hercule comes up with some kind of deal. Like say,
hey, I know you guys don't want the media attention, so why don't you just put it on to me? I basically tell you you're a bunch of crooks, but then you can actually make me stronger. You know, kind of like worried about that. You don't get the attention, I get the attention. I think it's kind of like a quick, kind of a way we both win.
But that could easily backfire, because they could get negative attention. They could be ostracized, and people could chase after them. And
yeah, that's true. Gohan may not have got that place in the Orange Star High School.
Yeah.
Well, that is very true. That is very, very true. Could have backfired, but with Toriyama, I doubt that. I think it would have worked out, really. But there's always that risk. There's always definitely that risk. Wario2255. What if Yamcha starts dating Bulma's sister, Tights? That'd be very awkward. So it's like, hey, Bulma, I'm kind of dating your sister. Then basically, Tights would be a cougar, almost. Like, dating younger men. It'd be interesting. It'd be nice for Yamcha to have a relationship, but at the same time, it would be like...
Yeah. I think the second worst option for Yamcha would be Maron.
Oh, jeez. two vapid personalities. Oh my god.
And the Bulma look-alike to that. So
that'd be one of the most basic relationships in Dragon Ball. Oh my god.
Yes. Yeah.
Imagine Maron dating Yamcha wrapped around his drinking not Starbucks.
Yeah, that would be.
They live in the equivalent of California on Earth there.
It would be the GT Goten levels of cringe.
Oh god, yes. Oh jeez. Yeah, seriously. Matthew Flanagan. What if the Z Fighters became androids? Well, if they all became androids at once, then the planet would be really, really doomed, pretty much. Everyone would be toast, pretty much. Let's just play the sound and be done. It'd be very, very dark, certainly. You could not do that nowadays. Not with Dragon Ball in its current time slot, certainly. Heartless Fang. What if Frieza ended up bankrupt after the events of Resurrection F and Super Broly and was stranded on Earth doing odd jobs? That would be hilarious. It's like, yeah, just like, imagine like Frieza working as a delivery boy. But basically...
Pizza Frieza.
Pizza Frieza. Frieza. Basically, oh, he'd have his own pizzeria. Little Friezas!
Yeah. And in reality, that would be just, the Structo discs.
Now I want to see a picture of that. Please, we need fan art of this. Little Friezas.
Yeah.
Pizza Frieza. Yeah. How did we not know about this? Jeez. That is amazing. Good job, Heartless Fang. Seriously. Blake Jane. No, basically, let's make fan art of this. Put it on Twitter, and let's confuse the heck out of Little Karibo. Just confuse the heck out of him.
Okay.
Yeah. Blake James. What if the Dragon Team humans were androids 13 to 16? Oh. Surprise twist. Ooh. It'd be very interesting to see, basically, whether that would actually work, or, like, it's a twist, that they basically were androids, but lost all their memories. It'd be a compelling and a bit of a conflict during the Android Saga. That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Red Dragon Force 2. What if Gohan found a gem while training with Piccolo and had the ability to temporarily fuse him with anyone? Think Steven Universe, but not half gem. So basically, it was like Gohan could like basically fuse with anybody. Well, then basically, I would imagine it would be like he'd do that with Goku. Like he'd keep that in his pocket for any emergency. And basically, he'd have this thing ready, and he would fuse with the first person that he could.
Piccolo, probably.
Yeah, probably. If he could. Chancellor 99759. What if Baby in R&R GT first found out about Universe 6 Saiyans before coming to Earth? Haverok, what do you think?
I think he would go for Kale.
Yeah. Kale will be the most interesting and tantalizing prospect, certainly. Yeah, Kale. Kale would be the first one to go, and then I think everyone else would fall. Pretty much. It'd be very, very tough. It would be basically Kale versus Super Saiyan 4 Ranch.
Yep.
Bit less in scope in terms of Ranch being Baby Ranch. Less in scope, but still, very compelling story though. Battle Amore, an android Saiyan made from a professor who has a grudge against people from the demon realm. He programs the androids to force him to attack anyone who is, and side with a demon realm being. Interesting. A cybernetic Saiyan.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Battle Amore. Combining the two.
Would you say that would be a Saiyan?
Yeah. I guess what you did there. Oh, okay. Driver's line. What if Universe 6 Saiyans were Tuffle Saiyan hybrids? That would have been a very interesting idea, but at the same time, I don't think Super Saiyan would have been as viable. If it had been to the point where basically it was all legend and from thousands of years ago, and nobody in the Saiyan line knew about that anymore. But again, it'd be a cool, interesting in bringing the Sufurians and the Tuffles back into the world, except for Zabuto.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Driver's line. Brendan Little, just had this Dragon Ball thought that I can't shake. How is it that the cast can punch each other in the mouth and not look like hockey players? Do they have good dentists, or do all those beans cause their teeth to regen like sharks? Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. So long as you don't have a missing limb, sensu beans can basically restore anything and heal anything. So just make sure you don't lose an arm or something like that. I'm looking at you, future Gohan. But either that, or, you know, Bulma knows a guy? Maybe?
Yeah.
And then our last one, Rage Creator 2996. What if the Earth was moved to Universe 6? Well, okay, so if Shampa got his wish, well, Beerus wouldn't be in control anymore, and therefore training with Whis would be out of the question. I think Shampa...
I think Vados would.
Oh, Vardas would take over the reins. Oh, no, basically said... Oh, she'd love it. Or basically said, I hear that you've been training with my brother. He knew nothing. I can train you even better. You know? And then basically she would just parade Goku and Vegeta in front of Whis, saying, look, brother, I managed to get Goku to do Ultra Instinct. And then Whis would just be so salty.
Yeah, like Universe 6 would win.
They'd win the Tournament of Power much faster. Definitely.
But Future Trunks would be very confused by going there.
Yeah.
Where is Earth? Where is Earth?
And then Whis would just be like, oh dear son, looks like somebody's got to explain this to you. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. Alright, with that, we are done for the day. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming on board today. So all that remains to say is, again, thank you very much for all of your contributions. Haverok, thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you, mate.
And, yeah, so basically, a Red Dragon Force 2 asked, do you ship Tights and Jarko? Yeah, why not? Jarko's got to have some love. But yeah, the next thing we will see on this channel, I will be streaming some more Kakarot tomorrow, as well as coming up with the latest part of What If Goku Landed at Capture Corp tomorrow. So you'll be getting that, as well as streaming a little bit of Kakarot, and hopefully Haverok can join us for that as well.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Cool. Alright, well, that one what it remains to say is, have a good night, everybody. Take care, and thank you very much for all your contributions, and just take care. Okay. Good night, everybody.